Hi everyone, welcome back. We're looking at the Core Agile Practices from the Agile Practice Guide from Project Management Institute and the Agile Alliance. This one in particular is collaborative user story creation. With collaborative user story creation, poor specifications are usually a major reason for project failure. In other words, we may have specified what the customer wants, and then when they actually get their hands on it, they may think, they actually wanted something different, or we may have misinterpreted what they wanted in the first place, and still results in them not really being happy with the end result. So poor specifications are often that major reason for project failure. In Agile development, user stories are written with a lot of the people involved, from the customer through to the people creating the product. So we've got the developers who are developing a product, testers, business representatives, or the product owner in the whole team approach, and with frequent informal reviews of the things that they're creating, just to make sure that they're right as we're going along. So everyone who needs to be is always involved, and it's always an ongoing conversation just to make sure that if we need to adjust, then we can. So the user story you've probably seen as well, but looking at the Kanban approach, a user story is often represented as a card on a Kanban board, goes from the backlog all the way across the board into done, and these can be whatever you want. For example, in progress, test, or design, sign off, whatever it is. But this user story that we've created during our release and iteration planning, it addresses both the functional and non-functional requirements of that particular feature. It also includes acceptance criteria, so we know what success looks like for these characteristics. And it also must be estimable, so we must be able to say, it's going to take me 3 hours, or 3 points if we're working on points, and the team has 20 points for the week, for example. It must be small, so it must be small enough so that we can really break it down to a manageable piece of work. And it must be testable, so we must know exactly what does done look like, what does success look like, and can we test that? It definitely has to be able to be tested. And with the testable part, often it's the test is written, or the acceptance criteria is written as the given when then, which is behavior-driven development, another sort of auxiliary part of Agile. And all that is given a certain scenario, when this happens, then I want X to happen. And that's the part that we want to test and make sure is happening given all of these criteria. There are also 3 C's of user stories. We've got the card, so the physical card, and it's describing that user story. It identifies the requirement, its criticality, expected development and test duration, and the acceptance criteria for that story. We've got the conversation. So this explains how the software will be used, evolving in conversations with the product owner and developers. So everyone is always talking. You've got the product owner representing the customer, and you've got the developers creating the products, you've got the testers testing that acceptance criteria, maybe you've got design in there, maybe you've got a few other members within your whole team approach. In your cross-functional team, everyone who needs to be there is within the team itself, and everyone is having that conversation. So as a customer, whoever the customer is, describing the person who's getting the benefit of this outcome, I want this so that I can do that, basically. And that's another great way to describe that user story. And lastly, we've got confirmation, which is that acceptance criteria. So that shows us when we've reached our goal of creating what the customer wanted for that particular story or that particular card. That's discussed during the conversation with everyone involved in the whole team, and it's used to confirm that that story is done. And that is collaborative user story creation.